Stephen A. Smith, Stephen, my boy. Stephen, my boy, is out here going off on everybody. I want to jump right into this because this was crazy. This was crazy.
I've been waiting for the last few hours to discuss the subject that
I'm going to speed it up a little bit, just a little bit.
Paul George has a podcast. I forget the name of it. Somebody remind me, please, when you get a chance. Podcast P. Podcast P. I had a problem with the nickname Spicy P, which is the nickname for Pascal Siakam of the Toronto Raptors. So if I had the problem with the name Spicy P, what do you think I could say about Podcast P? But I digress. I'll instead focus on addressing Paul George and his cohorts in the world of podcasting because they chose to address me. It'll give them additional clicks. They'll elevate their level of popularity, I have no doubt. And I'm here to please because I don't want them to fail. I want them to succeed. I want all these brothers to succeed. I want J.J. Redick to succeed. I want Draymond Green to succeed. I want Patrick Beverley with his podcast to succeed. I'm all for the fellas getting theirs.
Hey, let me ask y'all a question before we get really into this, right? Because Paul George and the people on his podcast had some wild shit to say about Stephen A. Smith. Now, what I'm starting to find is that everybody not letting that shit slide no more. Everybody not letting that shit slide no more. Now that they got their own microphone, they said, listen, we ain't got to be politically correct. We're going to get straight to the shit. Here's the question that I have to ask y'all before we really deep dive into this. Do y'all really want y'all enemies to succeed? When y'all say, listen, what I'm saying right now is objective, but at the same time, I want you to win. Do y'all really want the person that you're going against or the person that you're having a conversation against to win? I think that it's human nature to say it. I don't think that it's human nature to actually mean it. I don't think that y'all want the people that y'all don't care for to actually be successful or at the very least be as successful as you. When I see people say that, I think that they being disingenuous. Let's continue.
Always been about that. Always will be about that. And before I go any further, let me say that even though I'm still not sure about how deep I'm going to go, I think it's appropriate to preface my comments by saying that I've always been a fan of Paul George. Not just Paul George, the basketball player, but Paul George, the person.
Why do people give a compliment before they start going in on a motherfucker? You know what I'm saying?
A lot of love for him. He's good people. He's a star in the National Basketball Association. I got mad respect for him.
I see you, messy mathematician.
But I respectfully disagree with what he had to say about me because I think he's wrong. His cohort, what is that? Jackie Long, is that the name again?
Y'all know who Jackie Long is? Jackie Long is the dude that was in, I think it was called ATL. Jackie Long is like been in a few movies and stuff like that. Like he's not an A-list actor. Like he's not on no Denzel Washington type shit or whatever. I don't even know how you would differentiate between a B, a C, and a D-list actor. Azriel says, Anton, you do the same thing, complimenting first. I'm going to tell y'all why I do that. Fantasy Girl, fan said, you definitely know how that feels, Anton. I'm going to tell you why I do it, and then I'm going to give you my opinion of what it is that they do. But that's later. Let's continue.
That's a different matter altogether, my brother. I'll deal with your ass in a second. Before I do that, let me let y'all hear Paul George responding months later to something I said months ago about Kawhi Leonard and his perpetual injuries, a.k.a. load management or whatever the hell you want to call it. This is Podcast P commenting about yours truly. Listen to this.
I heard Stephen A. talk about he could have, like, Kawhi could have gave you 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Bro, it's not about that. Like, if I got to go on the floor and I can't be myself, then, like, what the fuck am I on the floor for? Now I'm liable to get even more hurt. It was a dumb take.
Have Stephen A. Smith played any professional sports?
Hell no.
Exactly. So he shouldn't even be speaking on what y'all got to go through every day to put y'all.
And I don't think fans just really understand, like,
what y'all go
you
through.
try to play through injuries. That's the goal. If you can play through it, you're going to play through it. if you can't, there's a reason why. Like nobody wants to sit out for no reason.
Let me say this before Stephen A. goes in on whatever it is that he's about to say, all right? With the amount of money that fans spend today, because it's not just casual anymore. If you gonna be a fan, like I'm talking about a fan that is participating in what's going on in the sport, especially basketball, even baseball is cheap. Like you can go and get some baseball tickets and sit in the stands and just have fun and go get the hot dogs or whatever. But when you go to an arena, you spending some money, like relative to whatever your situation is, right? You can't go out. First of all, you're not going by yourself. So you're usually going to spend some money, or you take a girl with you, or even if you want to take your family with you, it costs money and it's relative, right? So I'm not even going to use myself as an example. I'm just going to say in general, to go to a basketball game, and you're not just going for the team that's the home team, you're going to see whoever the star is, you're spending hundreds at least of dollars. I don't know anybody that's ever went to for parking, you're going to pay. If you get any food while you're there, you're going to pay. The tickets, not only is the tickets egregious as far as the initial cost of the tickets themselves, even if you get it for a bad team, but then you got all of the fees that's tacked on top of it from Ticketmaster and all of that other type of stuff, right? Then you're going to go into the arena, and they're going to give you a half-ass performance, and they're going to walk in a lot of times with an attitude like you owe them money. They're going to walk in like you owe them money. One thing that I've seen from basketball players, the basketball players that are American versus the black, let me just be for real. Black basketball players versus other basketball players, it's a completely different sentiment. Jokic, who, a lot of y'all, I know it's the ladies, so we're going to bring it back to the money. Jokic won a championship this year, and he was the MVP, right? Or actually, he wasn't an MVP. He's a former MVP. Joel Embiid won it last year. But Jokic is a foreign player that plays every game and leaves his heart out on the floor, right? When he comes in, now you got to remember, this is a West Coast team versus an East Coast team. West Coast teams only come to your city one time, right? So if you're a West Coast team, let's say you a LeBron James, you a Jokic, you are a Devin Booker, a Kevin Durant, or something like that, somebody that plays on the West Coast versus the East Coast, right? The Eastern Conference versus the Western Conference, they only come to your city one time a year, right? So a lot of times, especially when we get our season tickets in the beginning of the year, what happens is people plan for that. I mean, them tickets go sky fucking high, right? Because those are the premium games. Those are the games that people pay a lot of money. Last year, I didn't go to the Golden State game because I had another engagement. And so because I seen it on my calendar, I went ahead and listed the tickets. My Golden State tickets went for $8,000 for 2 seats because I'm on the floor. My Golden State tickets alone, coming to the Detroit, Steph Curry, all of them, my Golden State tickets alone. It's my daughter's favorite team. We've seen Steph Curry play and all of that other type of stuff. She's a Steph Curry fan and all of that. So you're willing to pay a premium. My Steph Curry tickets went for $4,000 a piece. And they sold way before the season even started. And people are willing to pay a premium because a lot of times it's on their bucket list. They take their kids or whatever, and it's not like people are spending an egregious amount of money to be able to support these players. Now, when you see these contracts, you see the Jaylen Brown making $304 million a year. You got Paul George making $30 and $40 and $50 million a year. Fans understand the fact that you may be hurt, but load management and the possibility of you just chilling and you getting millions and millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars per game. What I personally have seen is the Jokic's and the Lukas and all of them, when they come in, they love on the fans. They show love. They hug the kids. They walk over after and they sign autographs. They go and give high fives. And honestly, this is my general sentiment. When I see black people, the ones that feel like they deserve it or they walk around like they shit don't stink, they yell at, they don't yell at fans, but they be looking at them with attitude, hey, don't fucking touch me type shit and all of that. They have a completely different mentality, and I don't know what that is. Why are the foreign players and even the white players that are initially from here, like, they just show love. They genuinely just be on some cool shit. And I love the fans. Thank you. Oh, man, y'all so awesome or whatever like that. But the other ones, they be looking like, yo, I got my drip on. If a fan get too loud, they say, yo, I had one NBA player that threatened to come and see me after the game. Crazy, man.
I'm amazed. Do you have any idea who the hell you're dealing with?
Ooh, talk your shit, Steven.
Any idea at all? I think it's important to give my resume. Don't you? I think it's important. Speaking of my man, Galen Gordon, he's here in Vegas with me, my brother. Great, great television producer. He sit right next to me. I think it's fair. Paul George, I've been covering the NBA since 1996.
That's a long time.
In 2 years, that would make 30 years. I was covering the NBA since you were in elementary school.
Oh, talk to him.
I think I know a thing or two about basketball. And I also think that covering the sport the way that I do, and you know this, Paul George, because of your personal experiences with me and some of the things that I could have said about contemporaries and colleagues and others that I never did, that you know if something comes out of my mouth, it's not just my opinion. Players, coaches, scouts, player personnel directors, assistant GMs, presidents, owners. Do you really want me to sit here and talk about the Los Angeles Clippers?
Stephen A. said, listen, my resume speaks for itself. I was talking about this and I was putting my work in before y'all was born or when you was 8 years old. He said, I've been doing this since 1996. That's almost 30 years, yo. That's all. Listen, at the very least, you got to respect the people that didn't put the work in and been doing it the right way. Stephen A. said, I've been doing this since 1996. And yes, I did speed it up. So we talking a little bit faster. Here, you want me to speed it up a little bit more? I got you.
The perks and the treatment that folks have received and how the fans have been cut short. I could go there. Paul George, did you know that you're the 34th highest paid athlete in the world, according to Forbes magazine, for the year 2023? $51.5 million total. 9.3 million in endorsements. I could say I'm waiting for a championship, Paul George.
Can y'all imagine what it's like to make $55 million in a year? To make $55 million in a year. And listen, if you paying me $55 million a year, you can say what the fuck you want. Listen, you have the right as a fan, as a journalist, as a reporter, as people that want to criticize. In my opinion, I cannot be sensitive making 55 M's in a year. In 1 year. I know they want us to take it into consideration and NBA players' mental health and how they feel and all of that shit. Listen, if you pay me $55 million a year, you can say what the fuck you want to say about me when it comes to the opinion of what it is that I do on a basketball court.
That kind of money. But I happen to believe you would have had one had it not been for your injuries because I think you're that gifted. So I'm not going to disrespect you like that. Plus, I got love for you. Did you know that Kawhi Leonard is number 35 on the list? Last year, $50.5 million total, $8 million in endorsements the year 2023. If you combine your money with his money, that equates to $102 million in salary and $17 million in endorsements for a franchise that went the fuck home in the first round.
I have never seen, I don't think in my entire time that I've been watching Stephen A. Smith, and I've been watching Stephen A. Smith for a long time, I'm actually a fan of what it was that he's been able to build and his opinion and all of that. And I like to have a different opinion of him and stuff like that. I have never seen Stephen A. Smith say, and went the fuck home. Stephen A. Smith sound like what we be doing over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. We be cursing and getting censored and all type of shit and getting our stream shut down and stuff. Steve, I have never in my life heard Stephen A. Smith say and went the fuck home. I got to rewind that a little bit.
$102 million in salary and $17 million in endorsements for a franchise that went the fuck home in the first round. I would repeat that, but I don't think it's necessary.
Oh, talk your shit, Steven.
228 NBA players have played more games.
Talk your shit, bro.
Than you. You're at 189 games over the last 4 years. 297 players have played more games than the 161 games Kawhi Leonard played over the last 4 years. Do I need to continue? Do I need to continue? Everybody saying no. Paul George, as you know, my sister Carmen adores you, loves you to death. She's here in Vegas too, you know. She's standing a few feet away from me. She's going to be on here in a few minutes. Do you know that she's sitting over there 5 feet away from me, Paul George, cringing, begging me to stop?
That's what women do. Hey, don't do it. Don't go, Anton, don't say it. I'll be like, skip that shit. It's on. It's up from here.
Please stop talking about Paul. Please, Steve, don't say any more. Please. I'm not disrespecting you. You're a star, and I got love for you. But I'm giving you facts.
Talk your shit,
I'm going to continue, Paul George, because I have the notes right here. You've missed 119 of 308 regular season games. That's 38% due to injuries.
You missed 119. You missed more than a third of what you are guaranteed to get paid for. Let's put this in perspective, y'all. You miss more than a third of what it is that you getting paid. Now we get it. Injuries are a thing, so on and so forth. But here's the question that I got though. How you gonna get an attitude and you getting paid regardless of whether you show up or not?
In that time span, you've earned $148.2 million in your career. 57.3 million of those monies were for games missed. That good enough stuff for you, King?
I wish I can get paid for not doing a Millionaire Morning Show.
Kawhi Leonard, he's missed 147 of 308 regular season games. That's 48% due to injuries. Kawhi's earned $146.9 million in his career with the Clippers. About $70.8 million were for games he's missed. So combining that 70 with the 57.3 million, the 70.8 million.
Bam Bam reading that super chat shortly. Could y'all imagine only going to work 61.5% of the time and getting paid 100% of your salary? Could you imagine going to work for 61% of the time? That means a little over half of the time that you're supposed to be at work, you go. Shout out to Pro. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. And you get paid 100% of your salary, guaranteed, no matter what happened. Only thing you got to do is not bring a gun in the locker room or not grape somebody and you good. Jesus Christ.
Million plus 57.3 million. That comes up to $121.1 million in salary paid to you both for missed games. I don't see the Clipper fans getting any refunds.
Facts.
I still am waiting for that championship from the fair-weather stepchild known as the Clippers compared to the Lakers, even though I think the Clippers are a first-class organization and your day is coming.
Reading that super chat shortly, just saying.
And let's make sure we remind the world why you chose months later to call me out. I wish you would have just called me on your podcast. I'd have came, Paul. You know that. For you, anytime. I would have came. But since you decided to go this route, this is why I have a podcast. See, you got to understand something. I'm not going to go after everybody, and I'm not going to respond to everything. But the beauty of my podcast, which I own, I operate, I control, is that I can reach out and touch anybody I damn well please anytime I want to. If I've touched presidents and former presidents and presidential candidates and senators and congressional figures and everybody else, what the hell makes you think I'm going to be scared to touch you?
Talk your shit, Stephen A. What y'all think? That y'all going to say something and y'all not going to get this shrapnel? If I was Stephen A., I'd have been like, say my name. What up,
now,
Brandy?
For the audience that's missing a boat in all of this and wondering, where's the context? Here's where the context comes from. On my show, First Take on ESPN, every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, the #1 sports morning show for 11 and a half years and counting. And by the way, you'll see a press release coming out in just a matter of days showing that, yet again, for the 12th consecutive month, we're up in the ratings year over year, or rather month over month for the 12th consecutive month. And our ratings are pre-pandemic ratings, just as an aside. Because, see, I want to talk facts.
Talk your
I want
talk,
to make you know
man.
I got receipts.
Talk your talk. Show the
Having said all
receipts.
of that, let's provide perspective as to why Paul George felt the need to bring me up in, dare I say, truculent fashion, to say the least.
I like this.
Here's the reason why.
I like this version of him.
Because on First Take, I looked in the camera and I said, Kawhi Leonard is a superstar. He's a 2-time NBA champion. He's a 2-time NBA Finals MVP. But he is the worst superstar our game has ever seen.
Facts.
And I talked about how he might as well just retire.
That's a fact.
Now, was I speaking to some degree with a touch of emotion? Yes, I was. Because once again, he was supposed to be available for the playoffs, and he's going at Kevin Durant, and he's going at these brothers, and he's dropping 38, 39 points. And then the next game, we find out on game day, he can't go. We like, damn, I ain't see you get injured. I ain't see you walk off the court. I ain't see you get carried off the court like Paul George, whether it be an Olympic competition or on the court for the Clippers. I didn't see anything like that. You walked to the bench. You sat down. You drank some Gatorade or water or Powerade, whatever the hell you were drinking. You looked fresh. You showed up to shoot around one morning. Ty Lue is planning to use you, and let's make this noise. Against Phoenix, they got Kevin Durant now, along with their brother Devin Booker. We got a problem. But we can resolve this with Kawhi Leonard, and all of a sudden he can't go. I'm like, damn. There's always something. Why don't you just retire? And then I took it a step further. Without questioning his injury, because I wasn't. Because people within the Clippers organization talked about how legitimate it was. I elaborated on why Kawhi Leonard is a god-awful superstar. Notice I said superstar because I'm not questioning his greatness as a player. I call him a god-awful superstar, the worst superstar in the history of the NBA as far as I'm concerned. Because, number one, I already highlighted the games missed. And number two, he does absolutely positively nothing to promote his team or the sport.
I agree. Where's the lie? Where's the lie that Stephen A is saying right here? Where's the lie? Listen, if I am paying you the type of money, listen, I don't care if I'm paying you $50,000, $60,000 a year. If I'm paying you, at the very least, I want you on the bench with a fucking towel, cheering people on, all of that shit. I don't want you sitting there stoic, slow motion, chilling, and none of that. I want you actually doing everything that you can to add value. If you can't add value, at least in a way in which we were paying you. I want you to actually be pushing, coaching, motivating people, cheering your teammates on, showing up to the games instead of chilling at the crib. If you making hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally $40, $50 million a year, yo, show the fuck up. Show up. What up? Yeah, man, we showing support, yo, let's get it, whatever. You telling me you just chilling and you ain't even on the side, you don't even show up? You go over there in your New Balance?
I got my PR girl Salon sitting right over there. I got a producer right here extraordinaire in Galen Gordon that knows TV like the back of his hand. If you can't sit up there, okay, and at least take time to market and promote a brand you represent so you can help facilitate them making money, then all you doing is taking money. If you ain't available when it counts.
That's a fact.
Who can't understand that? We suddenly don't know business with all the money you've made, Paul George. All the money you've made. As smart as you are, as accomplished as you are, as business savvy as you work to be every single day with contemporaries like KD and Steph.
Jake, check this out. Jake says, no, Anton, that ain't the contract. What the contract say, put it in the contract. That means that man contract doesn't say he got to care about the fans. He working his contract. Fans got to watch no matter what. Is this what we doing? Is this what we doing? Listen. Every day I engage, right? The way that I do when I put my show together is centered around you guys, right? Now, I could just do clips or just drop videos, But I do this because I want y'all to get y'all day and y'all week started off correctly, right? When I first started this was called After Hours. It wasn't called the Millionaire Morning Show. We was doing it at night. We wasn't doing it in the daytime. But then I realized that in order for me to really reach you, I don't want to catch you at the end of your day where I can't impact how it is that you live your life. I want to catch you at the beginning. And so, whereas other people is taking your money and your resources and they fucking selling you courses and all of this other type of shit, when other people are charging you $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 for a coaching session, right? The thing that they would really be charging other people, we figure out how it is that we can add as much fucking value that we can into the people, right? Because y'all are the people that support us. Without y'all, there are no us. Without the fans, there are no players. Without the fans, there is no TV contract, right? And so I think that what we see nowadays is that once people get paid, they start taking people for granted. The people that love you and support you, right? You also got to do it for the people that's going to come after you. The players that came before you, they love the fans, and so you then came and benefited off of it as a result of it, right? And so y'all got to stop looking at this shit based off of just what's in the contract and start looking at it based off of the value that you can add from the people that support you regularly, right? When people send me product or whatever, I don't make no money off of when people send me product or when they send me their hoodies and stuff like that. I just wear that shit based off of the love because I understand that y'all are with me and I'm with you. And so this is how we going to do this shit together. I truly care about you. When I see these dudes walk into the NBA, yeah, it's not in a contract that they got a high five or fucking sign a little kid's jersey or nothing like that. But it's a level of appreciation that comes from the people that love and support you and is putting money in your pocket, because without the fans, there are no you. When I go into corporate America or when I'm doing something for corporate America, it's not in my contract that I got to volunteer for this or volunteer for that, but I'm very much appreciative and I'm thankful for the value that they give me. And so as a result, I want to give them more value, which allows for us to make way more money long term. Am I the only person that sees this and I say, yo, we need to value and appreciate people instead of looking at them as just a fucking paycheck? Appreciation, love, support. Yo, I'm with you. Let's high five. Flying into different people's city in order to be able to add value into their life and all that. I don't really understand that. Did we get so far removed and we only look at people as commodities to where we don't want to add value into their life?
And of course, LeBron, Russell Westbrook, your brother, who's doing big things in the business world. Big things. Don't get me started with his car dealership. Damn it, I thought he owned a damn town as many dealerships as I saw Russell Westbrook dealerships, and crying out loud. Well, what these brothers know about business, what you know about business, Paul George, you can't understand what I'm saying? If you don't market the product and the brand you represent, and you are not on the court 48% of the time, like Kawhi Leonard wasn't over the last several years, what are you doing? What are you doing?
He's right.
I didn't say the man was faking any injuries.
I'm going to read that super chat shortly.
I didn't say the man doesn't care. I didn't say he doesn't work hard. What I said was, damn, you can't give me 5 minutes, you can't give me 2 minutes. I even used the Pat Riley analogy in the book, Blood in the Garden, when he asked Charles Smith, if we needed you desperately for 5 minutes right now, could you give it to us? Charles Smith said, yeah. He said, then what the hell are you doing in street clothes? I only used that analogy. That's all I was trying to say.
That's a fact. At the very least, show support for your teammates. Don't own your clothes. I'm going to be reading those super chats shortly. Get dressed. You know what I'm saying? Actually come out. I'm going to tell you a player that do that shit. Steph Curry, I remember a couple years ago, it wasn't last year, but it was the year before, he couldn't go. And we went to the game or whatever. But Steph Curry came out and all of the fans went crazy, right? And he came out and he actually went and shot. He couldn't play in the game, but he did his normal warm-up ritual routine because he knew that all of the kids and all of the people was going to come in the beginning of the game in order to see it. He ran out and he was high-fiving people and he was giving play and showing love and he was cheering on his teammates and all of this other type of shit. He was injured. But at the very least, he gave that energy. He gave that love to the people that love him so much and support him, and to his teammates and to the fans. And even though he didn't necessarily go that day, people appreciated the fact that he showed up. He didn't have to. It wasn't in his contract. He could have went out in street clothes and stuff, but he was just out there showing love with his teammates, having a good time, playing with the fans, and people love him for it. People have learned to love them for it. That's all we saying.
But I'll tell you something I should have said, Paul George, that I didn't. Whether he had to hop, skip, or jump, I bet you Kawhi and his ass could have done that to the bank.
Facts.
Because he got a checkbook that shows it.